Hi everyone, making this video here on owning a EV. Now, if you own a Chevy Bolt EV, if you own a Hyundai, Kia, Mercedes-Benz, whatever the case might be, this video is for you. I'm gonna go into detailed analysis on the cost of how much it costs, the real life, real results here on how much it's cost me, how much it'll cost you most likely, so you can do the math for your vehicle, and just the overall pros and cons of owning an EV. So I went ahead and developed a Excel sheet, including some detailed analysis in terms of that. So let's go ahead and do the math here. I have up in front the EVgo website. Um, Let me go ahead and this is the EVgo website, right? So, there's many different conversations out there and dialogue on, will I be saving money with an EV? Is it gonna, cost a lot more? Keep in mind, EVs cost quite a bit more than the gas counterpart. You're looking at about couple thousand minimum to over 50 or 100,000, depending on the type of vehicle or EV that you get, right? Now, a Chevy Bolt EV or EUV is actually one of the cheapest EVs you can purchase out there, next to Nissan Leaf. You're looking at about $30,000, but keep in mind, a Chevy Bolt is extremely small. It's the size of a Toyota Yaris. And let me go ahead and Chevy Bolt. Let me go ahead and show you what a Chevy Bolt actually looks like here if you have not seen it. Here is a picture of it. So it is fairly small. So folks that compare a Chevy Bolt to a Toyota Camry or another larger vehicle, it's not a fair comparison at all. So I would not do a comparison of that. I would do it in comparison of a Chevy Bolt to, let's say, like I said, a Toyota Yaris, right? And let's take a look at the Toyota Yaris. As you can see right here from this picture, it's the same size as the Bolt EV, right? But let's go ahead and take a look at the price of the Bolt EV. And I'm not going to divert too much attention to this, but I wanted to make sure to cover this because a lot of folks are kind of getting confused on what the price. Okay, so the original here, 2020 Toyota Yaris, brand new, original MSRP, 15,000 to 20,000, right? 20,000 or 19,000 being a fully, and this is actually the four door version of it. I don't know if I can find another version here. Here's okay, so here's the hatchback version, right? Starting at 16,605. Okay. And as we can see from the EV, the base trim, right? There's two trims. The 1LT is roughly 27.5 without any markups, which usually dealers will mark this up here in California. So you're looking at a difference of, you're looking at 16.6, seven, eight, nine, almost $9,000 of price difference, right? Now the Bolt is a little bit more better handling than the RS. It might be a little bit more quieter because the EV engine and whatnot, or there's no engine. But the main reason why people are buying EVs over their gas counterpart is due to the gas savings, right? And we can see from here, vehicles like the Yaris get 32-40 mpg city and highway, right? So let's go ahead and copy that down. And by the way, it's not only the Yaris, it's the Nissan Versa. We've got Kia Rio, and whatnot. So I went ahead and did a Excel sheet right here for you guys to take a look at, right? So let's say, for example, the Chevy Bolt, right? It goes 250 miles of range roughly. And you can also confirm it here at Edmunds. We can go ahead and take a look. It says 278, right? But the estimated range for this car is 276 miles after a few years. The EPA estimates about 260 miles. But keep in mind, when you're driving on the highway, you will not see 260 miles. If you ask any EV owner, 260 miles is a huge stretch. But for all intents and purposes, let's put 260 miles, right? Okay. So we can go to the EV Go charging. That's my bill, by the way. Let me go to the charging here and how much it'll cost, right? So let's say you'll go with the EV Go basic plan right here, right? This is not the bottom, but or let's say go with the pay as you go. That's just the basic one, right? There's no well, there are session fees. Okay, well, let's just go EV Go basic. It's $99 a month, okay? And as you can see, there are off-peak and peak times, right? And as you can see, peak times are 46 cents to 63 cents. Off-peak times, 36 cents to 49 cents, right? So let's do the math. Let's get right in the middle, right? There's 36 cents, there's 63 cents. Let's come right in the middle. Let's say 45 cents a kilowatt, okay? So let's do 45 cents a kilowatt. Okay, let me do that. Let me enlarge it here so you guys can see. And actually, I'm gonna enlarge all this here so you all can better see on the video. So let's go ahead and do that. And as we said, it has a 65 kilowatt battery. So let's go ahead and multiply 65 times 0.45. Okay, so that comes at about $30 per charge. Okay, and that's to fill up the battery, right? Now, I went ahead and went to the AAA website. These are the current gas prices. National average is $3.55. If you're in California, it's $4.90, right? So let's go up the national average, $3.55, right? Let's go ahead and do that, $3.55, okay, per gallon, okay? And let's say the city and highway, we don't know what's going to be the MPG. Let's get right in the middle. Let's say 35 MPG, right? So 35 miles per gallon. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Okay. And I think actually we need to look at the tank. Yeah, how large is the gas tank for the Toyota Yaris? So let's do that. 2020 Toyota Yaris gas tank size or capacity, right? Okay, let's say it's 11.6. So let's go back to the chart. We got 11.6, right? Times that. So you're looking at per fill up, right? And we're saying that you're going about 35. If you're going about 35 miles per gallon and there's about 11.6, you're able to go 406 miles per tank. Okay, it's going to cost you about $41.18, right? But that's a lot more miles than that 260 range. By the way, you cannot get that in the highway. So let's go ahead and give a better estimate. Let's give a pretty good decent number, 220 miles of range, right? So or actually, you know what, you can put, let's say 200 if you're going all highway miles, okay, or 203, so the math can work out perfectly. So if I do the math here, right, and it only goes 203 miles per charge, right, and each charge is going to be about roughly $30 per charge. You got to multiply that by 2, because let's say if you want to make apples to apples comparison, 406 miles, you got to multiply this by 2. So if I'm charging this multiplied by 2, I am to match Yaris range, right? I'm paying more money now if I'm driving on the highway, I'm taking this on road trips, I'm going to places where, I cannot charge at my current location, it's gonna cost 58 dollars to charge it. This is much more expensive than even gas, okay? So let's go into, well, some folks will say, well, that's because let's say you're charging at home. Charging, cost at home per kilowatt, California, okay? So they say 13 to 22 cents per kilowatt hour. Okay, so let's go right in the middle. Let's not go to the lower end or higher end. Let's say it's 17 cents per kilowatt hour, okay? So let's go back. Charge at home. Okay, 17 cents per kilowatt hour, okay? And let's do the math again. So now we've got 17 cents times basically 65 kilowatts. So that comes out to 11 times 2, you're looking at about $22 in comparison, right, to range of Yaris. Okay, so you're saving, if you're charging at home, right, you are saving 41.18 minus 22.10. You're saving about $19. And depends on how much driving you do, right? $19 per 406 miles. So let's do this, okay? The average American drives 10,000 miles a year. Okay, that's the average. So if you're gonna do the math, we gotta do 10,000 divided by 406, right? And that comes out to 24.63 fill-ups that you're gonna do per year. Okay, so let's do that. Let's 24.63 fill-ups times the savings, 1908. So you're saving $470 per year driving a EV. Okay, so $470 you're saving per year driving an EV. Okay, so let's do the math. And by the way, the maintenance is going to be less for EV because there's no oil changes or whatnot. But for EV vehicles, due to the torque, the wheels, and also the weight on the wheels, because the battery pack is on lower to the ground, to the wheels, is gonna deteriorate the tires much more faster. So you're gonna have to spend more money on tires as opposed to the Yaris, which is very lightweight in comparison. But oil changes, let's go to Walmart. Walmart oil change price, right? I wonder if it's gonna show up. This is $22 to $55 depending on your location. Okay, let's say $55 on the high end. Let's go with that. So oil change, $55, right? And that's synthetic oil change. So synthetic, you don't have to go twice a year. You could do it like once a year, it should be fine. So $55 a year, right? Now, if you want to change your oil twice a year, okay, let's give it an average of $100 if oil change twice a year. Okay, let's go with that. So now the difference is not 469, is now 569 you're saving per year. Okay, and that's if you're not having any engine changes or engine problems and whatnot. And the Toyota Yaris is a tried and true engine, tried and true reliable vehicle. Any engine issues I do not foresee happening with that vehicle at all. And you can go to Consumer Reports and all these other things. This doesn't happen. You just change your oil and it change your timing belt after a few years maybe. But other than that, there's not really much you do after that. But let's go back to the price difference, right? So the Chevy Bolt we said was 27.5. What others are paying? Others are paying 28,000. There's a federal EV tax credit, but keep in mind that's for folks that have a tax liability, a very high tax liability that can write off that full $7,500. And a lot of people, what they find out when they get an EV is, oh, I get $7,500 off. No, that's not the case whatsoever. You don't get $7,500 off. For the most part, you have to have the tax liability and tax reasoning for that. Now, the Chevy Bolt does come with the tax at $7,500, which moving on into the future, that will be taken away. But other vehicles that are manufactured elsewhere, like Hyundai, Kia, their EVs, Mercedes-Benz, other EV vehicles, you do not get that $7,500. So again, it's back to the vehicle that you choose. But let's say, for example, you do get that $7,500, okay? And then others are paying about 28. Okay, so we're being very generous here with the numbers with the Bolt. But let's say it's 21.5, okay? So the Chevy Bolt, let's go to our Excel sheet. Chevy Bolt 21.5, okay? And the Toyota Yaris, let's go back to that. Toyota Yaris MSRP, right? MSRP is 17,750, okay, for the LE trim, because we're comparing the lower trims here. So 17,750, right? And let me go ahead and correct this right here. Okay. So we have a difference of, let me go ahead and subtract these two. We have a difference of roughly $4,000, okay? So this is if like everything aligns, you're getting at MSRP, you're doing everything perfectly, you're about $4,000 difference, right? So that $569 per year, if you're charging continuously at home, you're never charging at EVgo stations or whatnot. Let's do the math, right? Let's do the math. So we divide that by the 569. So let me go ahead and enlarge this. Okay. So you would need to drive, based upon the math, okay? You would need to drive the Chevy Bolt for 6.5 years before you break even. 6.5 years, folks. A little bit over 6.5 years. 6 years and 6 months, right? You have to drive the Chevy Bolt to break even. And this is the cheapest EV, the cheapest you can buy, right? To break even. Now, if I did this comparison with the Hyundai Ioniq, the Kia EV6, right, which are really good vehicles, but the price is much higher, right? You're looking at about $45,000, depending on the trim, right? And if you're comparing that to another vehicle that's similar, you're looking at it's going to be not a difference of roughly $4,000. It's going to be a difference of almost $10,000, right? So now that $10,000 difference in price, you're going to have to drive over 12, 13 years to break even. And keep in mind, the battery warranty is up to usually 10 years or 100,000 miles, right? You're going to have to drive it for that much time frame. Now, I'm not, I own an EV. So I'm not here saying don't buy an EV. I own an EV. So for me to not own an EV, I get that argument, but I own an EV. I actually own a Chevy Bolt. And, when you do the math, it really doesn't really add up. Now, let's say, for example, the Toyota Yaris, timing belt change, which is probably like $100, $200 or whatnot, if you get it at the right places. Tire changes, you both actually the EV vehicle, you have to do more often than the gas vehicle. So it kind of tires are more expensive than the timing belt. I think these numbers are pretty accurate in comparing both vehicles. Now, again, this is if you're charging at home at the cheapest kilowatt rate. If you're charging at EVgo, if you're charging at Electrify America, if you're charging at all these other places, your amount that to break even is going to be over 10 years. Is this a matter of fact? And I have my billing here of how much I pay, right? So these are all my bills on how much I pay for charging. Charging is not cheap. And another issue with not only the charging or infrastructure is the amount of chargers available. So you can see right here, the Bolt does not use the CHAdeMO. They don't. They use the combo. And you can see right now that the combo is only 3 out of 4 available, right? And this is like, by the way, this is 10 p.m. at night. So you don't really see people at 10 p.m. at night going to charge their vehicles, right? It's usually at peak hours, right? People are going to go ahead and charge. So let's go ahead and open it up a little more. So that shows me that there's one person using it, or that one station is down, is broken. And to be frank with you, with my experience for over a year going to these charging stations, is most likely down. We can see right here, 2 out of 4 are only working, right? 3 out of 4 are only working. This one, 8 out of 8. Okay, that's pretty damn good. But how much out of your way you're going to go to drive to this location to charge up? Whereas with a gas vehicle, you can turn the corner right at the exit or right next to you, fill up the gas tank and go. And by the way, to fill up the gas tank is going to take less than a few minutes. Okay. Charging the Bolt, it takes, and I put that here, is very important, guys. The charging speed is 50 kilowatts maximum. Until you reach, and that's if everything aligns, the temperature of the battery, everything aligns, it maxes, and the station has to provide that. It maxes at 50 kilowatts up until 70-75%. And the reason why I say 70-75% is it plateaus after 70%, the charging speed roughly to 40 kilowatts, right? To kind of taper it down, because any vehicle, any EV, when you get to 80% or more, the speed's cut in half. So when I get to 80%, is not even 40 kilowatts, it's down to 22 kilowatts of charging when you get from 80% to 100%. And that's slow charging. And keep in mind, the fast charging, 50 kilowatts maximum, it takes roughly 1 hour, I've noticed, from charging from roughly 20% to 75%. It takes 1 hour to charge it. So it's not taking a few minutes at the gas station, it's taking 1 hour to charge it. So in my opinion, I think the Bolt is a phenomenal vehicle. It's very quiet because there's no engine, it's just batteries. It's less maintenance, right? Less oil changes and whatnot. So people don't want to spend time at oil changes, but the amount of time you're charging it, going out of your way, it's this that and actually you're spending a lot more time charging than going to do a regular oil change, whether once or twice a year, right? So in my opinion, you have to weigh out the facts. This is all facts, this is all math, and that's the beauty of it, is that's what I want to present to you all today, is the facts, the evidence, and what's going on, because there's so much marketing, there's so much BS being spewed out there. And this video gives you the step-by-step guidance for you to make the right decision on if a EV vehicle makes sense for you. So if you have any questions, please post them down below in the comment section. Love to hear your thoughts, love to hear your comments. And of course, press the like button for the YouTube algorithm. It's going to help out the channel. And subscribe for more videos because I'm posting a variety of informational videos on not only EV vehicles, but also gas vehicles, hybrid vehicles, plug-in vehicles, charging stations, you name it. I'm posting videos on a daily, weekly basis. So subscribe with the notification bell so you are alerted, and see you all soon. Thank you so much for watching.